Your suspender is goofy.
Your suspender is goofy.
The top.
So we're on an Alaskan moose hunt, and it is raining outside. So we're just hanging out by the wood stove. I'm gonna do a little video. I'm here with my wife, Kara, and we've been hunting for how many years? Decent number of years now together. 8 years together. So I'm gonna start off. The first tip, and this is how I started with Kara, is just full immersion into hunting. Like no warning, no practice. Like we just went elk hunting, packed in the first day that she ever went hunting. And then even before that, we went deer hunting, and I took her on a float trip in November when it was freezing cold. She had none of the right gear. Threw her right into the deep end to test the waters a little bit, and look at her now. So that's my first tip.
My first tip for hunting with your significant other would be to don't believe if they ever want to do a short little trip. It's never just to that knob right there. It's never just like, we'll only be out for a half an hour. Always bring everything for the entire day. Bring all of your water, all of your food, all your snacks, all your gear. Never leave it in the truck, because inevitably that little hill turns into the next hill, and then going over the ridge, and then actually seeing something, going after something. Maybe you actually get something. So then you need to have game bags and knives and your backpack and water filter. Just bring everything that you would normally bring. And then primarily always bring food, water, and a puffy.
So the second tip is sometimes you have to listen to them when they try to put your plan into realistic terms. Like sometimes, like if I want to go, let's go through that 3 miles of deadfall, and then we can make it to that where those elk are before dark, and Carol will say like, there's only a half hour dark left, or half hour of daylight left. You do bring me back into realistic terms sometimes.
The next hot tip would be to, as soon as you start glassing, always glass everything that's closest to you, and try and glass up something that you can actively go after right then and there, so he doesn't have an opportunity to find something in the far depths of the world and make a plan in his head on how to get out there. But if you can find something close while he's trying to find something far, then you can convince him that we should try and spook those elk first before we go off on an excursion, and then they're gone by the time we get there anyway.
That rolls into my final point, which is a little contradictory to my first point, which was mostly comical, because that's probably not the right way to go about it, is to fully push them into the deep end. To actually like work with you and, you know, listen to her ideas, and turns out that I feel like we hunt pretty well together after that, instead of just full deep end. Just work together as a team rather than like straight up guiding her, like you have to do this, you have to do that. Like no, just like actually listen, make the decision together, and like hunt together. Don't be a guide. And I think that makes a huge difference, and makes it a fun experience.
You want to have fun, and so just be happy while you're there, because not everybody gets to go hunting, and so being mad about the weather or being frustrated the animals aren't cooperating, like it doesn't benefit you, and complaining only like ruins the experience. And so find the small things that are fun and happy and just focus on those, and just have a really happy experience. Because I mean right now, like, it's raining and it's not super warm, we're not seeing any moose, but I'm having a super fun time. It's not going to bring home the meat that we were hoping for necessarily, since we haven't seen a single moose, but you just have to have fun.
If one of the people in the group even if it's not with your significant other, if one person in the group is having a bad time, everyone starts to have a bad time. So just making the situation fun, like Kara said, is I think key to success too, because then when you're positive attitudes bring positive results.
I think when you hunt or when you do anything outside, you just have to learn to be comfortable in uncomfortable situations, and that is so much of what hunting is. And so you have to know and recognize that we live in a really privileged world now where we have heated houses and heated water and everything, and you're going into the outside to have this experience and to be with animals and in their house. And so if you're wet or cold or crying or bleeding, like, it's all temporary. It's all temporary. You will go back to your normal life. And so finding comfort in uncomfortable situations is like number one. You're going to go outside the first time or 100th time and you're going to be cold. But just, you like mentally have to push through it and just like, it doesn't matter. You're going to go back inside. And that's mental toughness. Mental toughness trumps physical fitness any day of the week in the woods. I hope these tips have been helpful to try and go out and hunt with your significant other. It is uncomfortable in the beginning. You're introduced into different situations that you haven't been in previously for both of you, whether you are the previous hunter or whether you're the novice. But I think that you gain so much when you're working together and your relationship builds upon itself, and it's just a really fun experience. And you can remember the bad times, you can remember the good times, but give it a try. It's gonna take more than one try probably to convince both of you guys that it's successful, that it's
worthwhile.
That it's worthwhile. But in the end, maybe you guys both enjoy it, maybe you don't, and then you don't do it anymore. But give it a try. I think it's fun. And it opens up both of your guys' lifestyles to the different activities that you're interested in. And for instance, I bring snacks now because I love food. And I go hunting because he's interested in hunting. And so it's combining both of our joys. And it's a fun time. So give it a try.
I feel like a lot of dudes are gonna like send this to their wives to watch, and then they're gonna be like, "Yeah, I'm not Kara."